Shalom. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Barsham, Yahweh Shai Barsham, Warakak Wadash. And double honors to the elder apostles, and as well as even including the elder bishops on down that have taught us this truth. And Yahweh Basham, Yahweh Shai Barakatham to the overall elect, whom is 144,000, and the rest of them, whom is the 130 do follow. And it's your brother Laban. Now, I just want to get into this article over here from the People's Voice.com. Just get right into it as this reads over here. Leaked DOD document details plan for military to execute non-compliant Americans. And as this reads, the new provisions within the Directive 524.0.01 expands the circumstances under which the DOD can assist the law enforcement, including the use of lethal force. Green Med Info reported that the 2016 version of the directive did not mention lethal force. So basically what they did, if I'm reading this correctly, they've pretty much updated that so that they can use lethal force, right? And in page 13 of the directive discussed the levels of authority necessary for various domestic military activities, which I have it over here. And we will go to page 13 to read that. And let's go and read. I think that's page, yeah. This is page 13 over here. All right. Yeah, so as this reads, from level of authority, Salakia, a little bit of a brain freeze there. Subject to paragraph 3.1, defense intelligence components may provide personnel to assist a federal department or agency, including a federal law enforcement agency or a state or local law enforcement agency when lives are in danger in response to a request for such assistance in accordance with the following approval authorities. So as they have A1, Secretary of Defense may approve any type of requested permissible assistance described in paragraph 3.2. The decision to approve requests for these type of permissible assistance described in paragraph 3.2, the law enforcement agencies and other civil authorities are reserved to the Secretary of Defense. A provision of personnel to support response effort for civil disturbances, which may also require presidential authorization. So it says may also require presidential authorization. And what we've been saying for a while, beginning with the elder apostles, which what this goes into is what they can do on the martial law conditions. And when there's martial law, the government no longer has the authority no more. It's the military in this case, right? And the word martial law means war law. So when there's martial law, there's war. And the military acts on that by these laws and legislations that they've been passing throughout these years, whether it's legislations we've known about or legislations we don't know about. So as it reads, it says, the provision of personnel to support response effort. Yeah, I've read that already. So B, DOD response to chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, and high-yield explosive incidents. C, assistance in responding with assets with potential for lethality, or any situation which it is reasonable, foreseeable that providing the requested assistance may involve the use of force that is likely to result in lethal force, including death or serious bodily injury. It also includes all support to civilian law enforcement officials in a situation or in situations where a confrontation between civilians, law enforcement, and civilian individuals or groups. Let me read that again. It also includes all support to civilian law enforcement officials in situations where a confrontation between the civilians, law enforcement, right, between civilians and law enforcement and civilians, individuals, or groups is reasonable anticipated. Such use of force must be in accordance with DOD 5210.56. Potentially is further restricted based on the specific request support. So if there's any nuclear, weapons that have been put to use, or any kind of chemical, biological attack, or even where it concerns groups of people, they can actually use lethal force. And we already know that average people don't stage great events. Now, is it possible that they can do this? Yes, it's possible. But usually it isn't possible. Usually we find out that people that are up to no good and causing mass hysteria, as they say down here in the UK, causing alarm and distress, is usually people that are, insiders. All right? So what Esau really wants to do here is, again, you've heard this before because you've said it so many times. Esau wants to cause confusion to the highest degree so that they can forward their agenda. And that agenda is for all people to be under this new world system. And these devils are going to fight tooth and nail to get that done. Case in point, a couple of days ago, Hurricane Helen was on the scene, and it brought a lot of devastation in a particular state that I don't really remember, right? Comes to find out, that was actually set up. That wasn't even what they would call a natural disaster. That was actually a disaster that was formulated to happen, just as so that they can get this lithium. So if these devils can go all the way out to do something like that, just to get the lithium, then just imagine what it's going to be like when Esau goes right to war with the people for the sake of setting up their agenda that they've been preparing for centuries. So when we tell you that this man is the devil that the Bible speaks about, you're going to find out we wasn't playing around, man. All right? And basically everything that we've been saying, it wasn't under the intent of playing games, man. We're coming from a serious place because, for one, as the prophets always had in times past, they've always known the visions of things that was about to come to pass. And they had to tell the people, giving them warning from the Most High. So we're doing the same thing. And we're not budging because why should we budge? We have a job to do. We don't care about what people think about what we do. We don't give a shit. What we're concerned about is doing the Lord's bidding. And if we don't do the Lord's bidding, guess what? We're going to be in danger of the judgment of the Lord. We fear the Lord, right? So there's no space in one's mind, such as people like ourselves, to lie to you and to play games. We're going to tell you what the deal is from Yahweh Bash Meow Shai. And it's either you get down with the program or you just get deleted in the worst way. There's no middle ground. Just like the guy said, as the elder apostle Tahar spoke about in response to her brother, to name the channel GMS Vegas Sit Downs, he responded to this individual that was sitting in his car with the bald head, right? And he said, remember those Israelite guys that was on the street? And they said this and they said that. Now I'm just saying it in my own way. Right? I don't really remember word for word, so I'm gonna just say it in my own way. He said, it seems to be that everything that they've been saying has actually come to pass. What we're coming with is the word of the Most High, which the word of the Most High, there's no lie of it. Like the scripture says, there's no lie of the truth. So we're going to tell you the truth, whether you want to accept it, believe it or not. This is what it is. And in this video that I'm doing, I'm telling you once again that the time is going to come where there will be martial law. And I think a lot of us can quite clearly see that right now. Years ago, there was a lot of scoffing and scorning and laughing and giggling. Oh, you guys are just kooks and, your tin cap foil wearing conspiracy theorists. Like, we don't see comments like that anymore. What people are finding out as information is being passed on excessively nowadays, people are forced to wake up. And what really woke people up was the COV era that came 4 years ago. That's what woke up a lot of niggas, man. I'm going to just use that term. I don't really care. People were slapped with reality in that time. And now people are beginning to believe in what they once have been told, which was conspiracy theorism. When in fact, most of what was considered conspiracy theorists was actually came out in due time officially. It was true. All right. So at the end of the day, when all of this stuff comes to pass, that's when the world, because the prophets were around, all around the planet Earth, in the world, telling the world what the deal is. So when this stuff happens, it's not going to be, oh, well, I didn't know that this was the case and that and this. There's not going to be no room for an excuse. There's not going to be no cloak for your sins, because you was told the deal and you didn't get down with it. So now that's between you and the Most High. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to read Ephesians 5:16. As this reads, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. And the will of the Lord is, in this case, is to bring the end of the civilization. And the end is going to be doom filled. That's what it's going to be. Nothing else, nothing more. All right. I can't tell you that there's going to be good, jolly old times in this world. No, this society is going to go out in the worst way that no one has ever even expected or even thought about. Now, we thought about it because it was brought to our attention through the spirit and power of the Lord, right? But I'm speaking in general, most people. This is the truth, and we have to tell you the truth, okay? So that's what the will of the Lord is in this topic of discussion here, because I'm the only one talking. But yeah, this is Psalms, 33. And as a matter of fact, you know what? I'm not going to read that as of yet. Let me continue to read some more. Yeah, so it says, wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding on what the will of the Lord is, and be not drunk with wine, wherein is excess, but be filled with the Spirit, speaking to yourselves in psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs, singing and making melodies in your heart to the Lord. Figuratively speaking, when we do these lessons, when we speak this truth unto you, this gospel of the kingdom is basically equivalent to us singing you that song. That's why the scripture says that the elect will sing that new song. Not literal, but figuratively speaking, that we would speak the words of truth, which proceedeth from Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushai. And one last one, giving thanks always for all things unto the Most High and the Father, in the name of our Lord Yahushua the Anointed. And we do give thanks that he has blessed us with this truth, and he's given us the Spirit to have faith in everything that he has blessed us with. All right, such as this truth, once again. And as this reads, now I want to read this, Psalms 33 and verse 1. Rejoice in the Lord Yahweh, O ye righteous, For praise is commonly for the upright. Praise the Lord with harp and sing unto him with psaltery and an instrument of 10 strings. Point is in verse 3. Sing unto him a new song and play skillfully with a loud noise. Let me read that again. Sing unto him a new song, play skillfully with a loud noise. So in other words, when you are bringing these scriptures out, you got to know exactly what you're doing. You got to have 100% truth. You have to have the full, thorough understanding, because you can remember the scriptures, but do you understand the scriptures to connect the dots? Because the way you preach the scriptures, you got to go by precepts, as it is written in the book of Isaiah 29, if I'm correct, where it says, matter of fact, let me go and read it. 28:9. Isaiah 28:9. There it is. Let's pull it up. Isaiah 28 and verse 9. Whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast, which the milk represents the basics of the truth, the basic understanding of the scriptures, which is the truth. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line upon line, here a little and there a little. So there you go. So that's how you preach the scriptures, so that people can understand. Isaiah is connected with, there's maybe a particular verse in Isaiah that might connect you to a particular verse in the New Testament, or a verse in the New Testament may connect you to a verse in the Old Testament, and that's how you would do it. It's like a jigsaw puzzle, so that others that are watching can see what you're talking about more vividly. All right? So that's what it means to play skillful, figuratively speaking, meaning to be apt to teach, as this is mentioned in 1 Timothy 3 and verse 2. A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach. And the word apt means to be skillful. Let's look up that word apt. Now I'm going somewhere else with this. I know I'm going somewhere else with this, so just bear with me. Right? So the word is didaktikos, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. My Greek is
Strong's G 1317. Didaktikos. Didaktikos.
Didaktikos, which is apt and skillful in teaching. See, there it is. So, especially a bishop, if you've reached to the point of being titled a bishop, you should be skillful enough to preach these scriptures the correct way. And you have men that give themselves lofty titles, but when you really analyze what they're preaching and the way that they teach the word, it don't add up. And yes, I'm talking about the leader which leads over the boys in purple. And as well as I'm talking about in cases that you will find Al-Azhar, the leader of the Sakari camp. Some of these guys, they go off on things. Now, half of the times, I'm not going to say half of the times. I would be incorrect if I said half of the times. But most of the times, they're correcting what they're saying. But there's 15% that they're going off on. And just like I said earlier before, you have to have 100% understanding of these scriptures. That's what it is. That's what the scriptures require. The scriptures require for you to have 100% understanding of it. As it is written, eat the whole roll, as what was told to Ezekiel the prophet, and then go teach the whole house of Israel. Not eat half of the roll, but eat the whole thing. All right? So you got to teach 100% of this truth, but then you got to understand it first. So now let's move forward and let's get this. Jeremiah 3 and verse 15. And I will give you pastors according to mine heart. Key point, according to his heart. Whose heart is this? The Most High. Which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. Right? So that's what we're out here to do. We're out here to feed you the knowledge of the Lord and to have the understanding of it. And this is what happens when the elect comes in. they have the knowledge of what is and what isn't. Now, the topic that I'm dealing with right now, we talking about martial law conditions being declared real soon, which the Bible speaks about that. Okay, so when you come to the Lord, you're going to know all things, especially if they're men which were set up by his power and his will. And let me say it the other way around, by his will and power, after his own heart. And if you're the elect, you're going to understand what they're saying and you're going to consume the words. And therefore, you're going to have a perfect understanding of the times. And this is what we're here to do. Okay? That's one of the reasons why we do these videos, so that when an individual comes in and bears witness to what we're saying, the Israelites, Great Nelson to be exact, whether they are of the elect or not, guess what? The blood is off our hands. You can either take it or leave it. All right? Which that's in Ezekiel, I think, the 3rd chapter too. Let's keep it moving here. And let's read Revelations 10 and 10. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. So you have the good parts of the scriptures, especially when you first come to grips to know who you are, as men would teach you the scriptures, and out of the scriptures you will find out that, oh, I'm an Israelite of this particular tribe. And overall, just by you finding out that you're an Israelite, you find out that you're one of the sons of God. And that's the best thing to know, because in this society, years prior before you even came in this thing, you were told that you was just a black man in America or England. And that's all he was. Or from your enemies, you would hear derogatory terms thrown at you. Or if you was a so-called Latino, or you're a so-called Native American Indian, right? So we've always had it rough in this Western world, as we supposed to, because we've disobeyed the commandments of the Lord and we was disrespectful to him overall. So this is the reason why in the Western hemisphere, which is where my focus is on, we're people that are scattered abroad throughout the 4 corners of the earth, and we've basically faced oppression worldwide, but just dealing with the West, where everything is at and where all of the tribes are at, we've all suffered oppression somehow, some way. All right, and verbal abuse, redlining, all forms of oppression to include. Okay, so it's beautiful to hear that you are an Israelite, which equals you being the son of the Most High. And then you hear that the nations that did you wrong concerning enslaving us, right, and oppressing us in many which way that they have done so, you hear about how they're going to receive the judgment. All right. And then you find out what the judgment is going to be. Oh, they're going into slavery. Now you rejoice, because now you find out that the enemies that have enslaved you, you're going to enslave them. Okay? And you're going to live as a king in your own right. So these are all beautiful things that we hear about. But then there's this bitter part. And the bitter part is that you have to endure to the very end, as it is written. He that endureth to the very end, same shall be saved. And then you hear scriptures like, many are called, few are chosen. Okay? So that puts you on edge to where you got to be on point. Otherwise, you'll get kicked out of this thing. And then you hear about, if you take the mark, you're going to be nuclearized. Oh, there's World War III coming. There's martial law coming. And Esau, he's going to use his force to bring great death and destruction. And the Lord is going to be behind all of that on the left-hand side. So that's the bitter part. But you see, you can't pick and choose what you want. You got to take the truth as it is. Okay? So, so in this case, what I'm talking about is what would be considered the bitter part of the scriptures. And this is something that you have to know. So when the bitter times do come, it's not going to get you all over the place emotionally. It ain't going to get you all messed up emotionally. because you already had it in mind already because someone told you. All right, so let's read this as well. FBI insider: elites planning doomsday attack to kill millions of non-compliant citizens. The World Economic Forum and globalists have completely infiltrated our alphabet agencies, and they are scheming a false flag attack on America that is set to leave 9/11 in the shade. If you don't respect us, we're coming for you. And I remember the brother, the elder brother from South Carolina, shalom to that elder, the elder Manatazak Bar of South Carolina. He spoke about this, and I saw this over here, and I was thinking, man, I got to speak on this, but the spirit got it to where I'm speaking on it now, just days later, which connects with the first article that I went into. So yeah, so as this reads, but don't just take my word for it. This alarming information comes from FBI whistleblower Marcus Allen, who has issued a chilling warning about an imminent doomsday attack. His predictions align with those of Klaus Schwab and the global elite, who anticipate a mass casualty event aimed at disrupting the up-and-coming November elections. And it gets even darker when you realize that these attacks appear to be starting right now. So, many are saying that on election time, there's going to be chaos. And I mean, you can kind of see that because when you look at who's running, you got Kamala Harris running, and then you have DJ Trump running. And most people don't really agree with Kamala Harris. Even the Negro don't agree with. Okay? But if she gets in office, it's just going to be a total throwdown in America. And according to this document here, that's when the military is going to be active. And they're going to be given the authorization to be active because of what? Legislations. Okay? Legislations that was passed, such as what I've just read to you. Because they know that all hell is getting ready to break loose where it concerns the American people. You got your hard die, red blood Americans that believe in the if I'm correct, the right to bear arms. I'm thinking about the amendment. I don't really remember the amendment. You know what I'm saying? And then you have religious nuts is what they would call, which believe in the First Amendment, right? You have just plain old Americans that really believe in their nation. And they believe in the idea of what happened during 1789, the Revolutionary Era. They believe in that. So when their government goes way left with it and getting in Kamala Harris into the position of power, like I said, that's going to bring the American people to believe that they got to take matters into their own hands and, result to violence, man. Because that's what's coming down the pike. So, all of this right here just plays into the hands of the higher powers that be. They knew that most people would not like Kamala Harris. They know that she is not really conducive for being the president. And as well as they know that most people don't agree with her being conducive. And as well as they know that most people don't agree with her being the president of the United States. So when that happens, people are going to go fucking ape shit. They're going to have enough. Enough is going to be enough. And that's going to pave the way for the powers that be to act on violence, according to law and legislation that was passed, which would give them the green light to do so. All right? Because ultimately, the elite, they want straight up and down confusion, the Hegelian dialectic. Revelations 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. And that's why he wants to spawn this wrath, because he wants to forward his agenda, which is that new world order system. And just like I said, they caused a tornado to happen so they can get that lithium. So just imagine what kind of energy they're going to come with just to get this new world order 100% formulated. Come on, man. These devils are going to go in, and they're going to show you that they're the evil that the Bible speaks about. And this is something that we've been saying to you over and over and over and over again. And the time is going to come when we ain't going to be talking no more. What's going to be talking is them prophecies. So with that, I want to close. I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Warakak, Wadash. And with that, I say, Shalom.